On this episode of Purposely Curious, we sit down and discuss the ongoing case of Lori Vallow, aka the Doomsday Cult Mom, which we covered previously in episode 8. Join us as we discuss the arrest of her fifth husband, Chad Daybell, and what this could all mean in this constantly changing crime story. Get nice and cozy as this episode starts now. Hello, Leonie. How are you?
Greetings, Mary. I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good. My voice feels a little raspy, but other than that, I'm A-okay.
Why is your voice so raspy?
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if it's allergies. I have allergies. So my nose has been a little bit runny this whole week, and so I think it's probably irritation from nasal drip.
Oh, wow.
It comes and goes sometimes, but I feel it. I don't know if you can hear it or no.
No, I can't actually.
Oh, good. Then I'll just continue feeling it on my end.
Right. Are you enjoying this heat wave?
I am not. I do like when it's warmer because, I can wear my dresses, show my pale legs, get some sunlight.
Nice.
But I don't, in the sense that I don't like to be out in the sun for too long. I hate the fact that I sweat in the heat. And then my apartment doesn't actually have air conditioner. So at nighttime, it's kind of, I have fans that are built in with the lighting of the apartment.
Right.
But I don't like summer. So for sleeping purposes either. So I guess I'm a winter girl.
Winter girl, yeah. I gotcha.
Winter girl. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
How about you? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm lucky I have central AC, so my place is always cool. But the weather here is a lot hotter than where you are. So it's been like 99 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's a little cooler today. It's going to get hot again in a few days, and it's fine. It's like whatever. But
yeah.
I do enjoy getting out in the sun and then getting out when I'm done. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
I don't need to be out there. It's too hot,
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know where we live in the greater Los Angeles area. So I live near the beach. And so it tends to be cooler where I am. So I could drive, let's say 10 miles from my house, 10 miles north, heading towards downtown Los Angeles, and the sun is out there and it's hot. It could be 99 degrees, and then I drive back to my place closer to the beach, and sometimes, not always, it might be 20 degrees cooler with marine layer and no sun.
Yeah, I know.
But in this heat wave, it was hot and the sun was out, so it sucked. But nothing compared to you. No, you don't suck. Nothing compared to where you live.
Right.
That was not autocorrect.
No, I know. My best friends live really close to where you live. So I told you, I've been, I'm always down there. And I know that even though you guys have nice weather down there, it's like some days you get kind of cursed with like the 85 high humidity, 90s. And you're kind of like, fuck, like you can't sleep when it's that humid. Like it's just unbearable, And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, it happens,
Yeah. So I've also noticed, I know people don't probably want to hear this, but I've also noticed that sometimes it can be hotter here, although it's very rare, than inland. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the way I don't know how meteorology works, but on rare occasions, it's hotter at the beach than it is where you live, which is so weird. But usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah. So on this episode, I wanted to go back to our Lori Vallow Doomsday Cult Mom subject. On episode 8 of the podcast, I had done an extensive timeline leading up to the arrest of Lori Vallow, Doomsday Cult Mom. So if you are listening to this episode for the first time and you don't know much about this story, I would highly recommend you listen to episode 8. It's a complex, uh, I was going to say storyline. I mean, it's real life, but it's just a web of things that is far out there. And it just goes to show that the suspects that we have are crazy in their own way. And then, I think I overwhelmed Leone on that episode because I literally talked his ear off of all the details I was reading.
Look, there were 25 minutes in the middle that I fell asleep, but I woke up. I woke up and I was like, wait, what? So no, it was good. It was good.
Yes. So definitely, if you want to know more about it, you can go to episode 8. But since that episode, so we left off on episode 8, where Lori Vallow. So I guess to start, so the way this case came to light was when two grandparents of Lori Vallow's, husband, who is dead, right? Kids, I guess, were missing, and the grandparents, that husband's parents, called the police to do a wellness check because they had not seen or heard from their grandkids, and they couldn't get a hold of Lori to speak to them. So when they showed up to the home, the police saw Chad Daybell and Alex Cox is I keep saying Alex Cox is the brother, or was the brother, of Lori Vallow, who is also now deceased. But they said that, they were with like a family friend or something like that. And then they questioned Lori, and she said the kids are with the grandparents. And that's when the cops were like, well, they're telling us two different stories. And the grandparents are the ones who called us to say that they haven't heard from the kids, right? So they got caught in a lie. And then when they returned the next day with a warrant, they were gone. They had fled to Hawaii. So they finally, Idaho police said, we need to know where your kids are. We are asking that you provide and show us the kids, or else they would charge the mom with something, right? So that was their strategy to get them to talk. They never did. The deadline came and went, so they arrested Lori Vallow, right? She was arrested for not showing the kids, she's like withholding the kids. And then the bail was set at $2 million, and then it was decreased to $1 million. Now, Chad Daybell is her new husband, which she married, I think, was it September? Sometime in September. So by
November.
then the kids...
November.
November?
Yes.
Okay. So they got married, and the kids were already missing. People hadn't seen the kids. And so they were in Hawaii without the kids. People were asking them, where are the kids? This is prior to, her being arrested. And so that's why it's very important, if you can get a chance to listen to episode 8, we kind of go through the whole timeline. But I'm just kind of giving you a little backstory to where we left off, right? So Idaho police took her in. So Chad went back over there, right? So they decided to keep her in. At this point, we have all the different police departments are talking, as far as the web of things, right? Which is the kids are missing. And then also in Idaho, Chad Daybell's wife died of natural causes per the initial report, right?
Right.
And then they got married 17 days or 11 days, 17 days after, was it 11 days? I can't remember. It's so much information, but they got married. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell married, let's just say 2 weeks after her death. And so the police also found that they had bought their wedding rings 17 days prior to her death. So there seems to be some weird stuff going on. So they have exhumed her body and doing a toxicology or autopsy to see if there was anything they can find out as far as, was it natural causes, or was there any kind of chemicals? Was she poisoned? Something that they can also do through bone testing, if her body's really decomposed, which I'm assuming it would be. Um, so what we saw since this last episode was that she kept wanting to have her bail reduced, and every time the lawyer would say no. Lori Vallow then went through some changes of lawyers as well. And then I think there was a change in the judge. The judge took himself off the case per the request of her lawyers. And I didn't understand why, and I couldn't really find reason why, but I thought that was odd. And throughout this whole time, Chad Daybell, right? The Doomsday, we'll call him Doomsday stepdad,
Right.
went to every court proceeding. And so he was also then being followed when he would go from the court to the car by reporters, like where are the kids? Are they safe? And at one point he kind of did say something to a reporter in Idaho and kind of said, yeah, they're safe, right? So they've never once, they're continuing to hint that they are safe. And remember, we had talked about the fact that there was evidence that he, being Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, believed that the two kids were taken over by demons, which is one of their beliefs in their religious kind of cult, which is something that they also claimed for his wife, who then was, found dead, right? And they also said that about Lori Vallow's other husband, who is also dead. So I know, are you confused already, or do you remember?
A lot of dead people.
Yes. And so with all this, we're still wondering where the kids are. And that is JJ and Tyler. Tyler is Lori Vallow's biological daughter, and JJ is the son that they adopted, her and her now deceased husband, Mr. Vallow, right? People were like, where are the kids? And I think as more time progressed and more information started to come out about everything we discussed in episode 8, people, I think, felt like it doesn't look good because so much time has passed and they're not talking.
Right.
In January, the police department and the FBI actually had a warrant to go into Chad Daybell's home. And so they went and they left with 40 plus items. What they have recovered is all under seal, but they did not do any outside search. At the time, the whole area was full of snow. So everything was frozen. And so we don't know what the FBI got. They could have taken computers. We don't know that. And so the reason I wanted to do this is because on Tuesday, today is June 13th. So we're recording this on Saturday. And on Tuesday of this week, the FBI and the Fremont County Police Department actually got a search warrant to search the actual home outside of the home. So when they went in January, it was snowy, right? It was just crazy snow. So now the snow is gone. So the FBI brought an anthropologist who would be able to tell. I guess they went there specifically to, if you look at footage of his home, he has a lot of land, like acreage. So they went to a specific part of his land and started digging. So that tells me that they had information specifically to where to dig. They did bring someone, right, who is an anthropologist to kind of look at the bones. So that tells me they had credible information. Where they got that, we don't know. So some people speculate, could it have been Lori who outed him? Or did they find something or someone else talked? So they searched in that area. So what some witnesses were saying while this was going, when they showed up at 7 a.m., that Chad Daybell wasn't there. He was actually parked in his car not too far away looking to see what was happening there. Now, this is what witnesses are saying, right? And the witnesses said that the moment, I guess he saw the car, when they found two bodies of two children. And so at that point they had credible, reason to arrest him. So they started going toward, they knew where his car was because, it's a small town.
Right.
Witnesses said that the moment he saw that, they noticed that they found like the remains, he started to drive off and try to escape, and they chased him and they were able to arrest him. Now, why would you do that? Why would you sit in your car, watch the FBI from far
Right.
on your land?
I have a question about that, though. It's like the warrant came out was it January or February?
When they went out, excuse me, I was drinking water. When they went out the first time?
Yes, when the warrant was issued.
The first warrant was in January, and it was just for his home.
So between January and now, that's 6 months. But if it's for the home, wouldn't that include the property as well?
Remember, there was also snow.
Okay, but that's my question now. Fully knowing that they're going to come back, wouldn't you think that somebody would want to move the bodies, get rid of the bodies? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's the interesting thing, because now when they arrested him, right, they found two human bodies that were children. So at that point, they brought him in, they arrested him, and they filed a complaint against him of 2 felony counts of destruction and concealment of evidence. So they're not charging him with the death, just the destruction and concealment of evidence.
Huh.
Right now. It's not to say that that's not going to change, right?
Right.
So what I was going to say was that what has come up after his arrest was that some of the neighbors, a neighbor said that in the fall, he noticed they had a huge bonfire in that area where the police and the FBI found the bodies.
Huh.
In the fall is when the kids were last seen last year. And then he also said he also saw another, like 2 bonfires in the beginning of the year. He couldn't remember if it was after the warrant search. So that they thought that was weird.
You think maybe he was trying to cremate the bodies?
Well, based on what the police are saying is that one of the bodies, I don't remember the word they used, but it sounded like one of the bodies was, they did something to one of the bodies. But everything is sealed right now. So we don't know the details yet. Now, also for Mr. Chad Daybell, he used to work before he went in through his whole grandeur of, he's a god and knows about, zombies, if you're a zombie or not. He had a job as a grave digger at Springville Evergreen Cemetery.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that to me is very interesting. Now, this is what he did. And apparently the mortuary people said is that he was great. And so he then, I guess, had like experiences with, afterlife, as far as he's concerned. And, then he went on to publish his own books and I guess start this whole cult. But he basically, I'm assuming he's the one that dug the holes and put him in there. Him and Alex Cox, who is dead. I keep saying Alex Co, and I think it's because he's a soccer player. But it's Alex Cox. So I'm sorry, listeners. If I say Alex Co, you know who I'm referring to.
Get your mind off of FIFA,
yo. But isn't that interesting? So, I wanted to also, before I just want to finish what I was talking about, him being arrested, right? Chad then had the charges read against him, right? They had set the bail, the prosecutor asked for a $1 million bail and the defense attorney asked for $100,000 bail. And then said that he's not a flight risk, that when Chad Daybell was seen driving away,
Right.
he was actually driving to turn himself in, he said,
Of
to
course.
court. So I'm sorry if I'm laughing, but that's some stupid bullshit. Like,
Of course.
he has a horrible lawyer. The other thing too is that they had Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell had the same like firm, I guess, the same lawyers. So they had to switch that because I guess you can't have two lawyers or the same lawyer, like represent both of them. And then so that I guess they're not talking, if that makes sense, is what I read.
Right.
And then they have them in 2 different counties right now. So I think that's a strategic move. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of what I was reading. That they were doing it in a strategic way so that they're not together. And I mentioned in episode 8 that I do believe that because they are Doomsday Cult people that believed the world was ending in January, they're setting it at 1 million. I do believe, and to me, the flight risk isn't so much of them getting on a plane and going. I do believe that they would commit suicide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe that probably they believe it as well. But you know, I mean, that was stupid, right? Like the lawyers telling the judge, he was not escaping, running away. He was driving himself to turn himself in.
Of course.
Well, why are you driving the opposite direction if the cops are right behind you?
Right.
Anyways, the other thing that was brought up is that initially they had just said it was 2 children. Then the grandparents, who have been very vocal in trying to find JJ and Tyler, with the older son, Kobe, had, kind of gave media notice that it was indeed JJ and Tyler. And so as of today, Saturday, Idaho confirmed that they are indeed, after doing the autopsy, it is the bodies of the 2 kids that were missing, which we all kind of knew. I think most of us, when we saw in the news that 2 bodies were found, I think even though we had hope that maybe it wasn't, most of us knew it was probably the kids, right?
Yeah.
So the grandparents also showed up to his home, Chad Daybell, home, to kind of see where their kids, the last place JJ was at, which, it's kind of sad when you see them, but it's at the same time maybe some closure for them, not the closure that we all wanted.
Right.
But it's definitely closure. So I wanted to, I guess, go back to what we were talking about. So as far as they had this information, everything is sealed right now, but they knew exactly where to go on that property. So they knew exactly where to dig. So either, do you think Lori Vallow snitched? Or do you think someone else, or they found something whether it's someone else snitched, or when they did the search warrant in January, maybe they found something there?
Well, here's what I think. What was that case in Florida again, with the girl she killed her daughter?
Is it Casey?
Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
I think that they're kind of reliving this whole thing all over again. And they're kind of thinking, okay, we have to make this case airtight. And the only way is we're going to have to strategically plan this carefully, right? So splitting them up into different counties, different prisons with different counselors, and sealing any and all evidence, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to bet that some of the concrete evidence is probably in some email chain or web browser history on some computer they confiscated.
Yeah.
Because these are idiot people. They think that, oh, I can delete the hard drive, and it's like, guess what? The FBI will find everything. So yeah. I bet you there's a trail of evidence that points to somebody being involved. or an email chain going back and forth as to who killed them or who, buried the bodies or dumped the bodies or attempted to burn them or whatever, whatever the case is. But I think they're building a solid case, and the only way to do that is to not have any kind of leaks, to not let on as to what they're investigating. So the fact that we know nothing in terms of the investigation,
Yeah.
like we don't even know how they even ID the kid. Like that's not even been public, right?
It was publicized today. Oh no, as far as how they found them, no.
No,
All they
but
said,
also how they ID the kids, because I'm looking for DNA evidence talk, and
yeah.
there's none of that.
So yeah, as of today, so they confirmed that it was them today.
But notice how they don't say how they confirmed it, and I'm willing to bet that that's not by visual. Like, hey, does he look at the picture? It's like, no, I'm sure the body's way decomposed or burned or something. But the fact that they didn't say, hey, we use DNA analysis to 100% confirm, they didn't even mention that. So the fact that they're keeping all these details is because they want to build a case that's so monumentally vast with evidence against them that they want to throw the book at them and be like, hey, we got you, murder in the first degree, with intent to murder these kids. We got email chains, we have evidence of the weapons, not weapons, but of objects used or, burial of bodies and fibers and all that.
So right now, neither one of them is actually being charged with the deaths of the kids yet. That's going to change 100%.
Of course.
Yeah, and I agree with you. They're keeping everything airtight, and they want to make it right. And then also remember that they are also being investigated for attempted murder and possible murder, both of them, for his wife as well. So that's another case in Idaho. So they're going to jail. I mean, they're already in jail, but it's not looking good for them.
Right.
My other concern was Chad Daybell I don't know if you've seen pictures of the home. So it's like this neighborhood is like a town. So the homes have a lot of acreage. And the other thing is that the house next door is where the Daybell kids live. They're adults, young adults at this point. But can you imagine being Chad Daybell's kids, right? Thinking your mother died of natural causes.
Right.
All this drama coming up, hearing that your father got married to another woman 2 weeks after your mom died, then finding out with this whole JJ, because it's very public, that they saw that the wedding bands they were wearing, right?
Yep.
Were purchased 17 days before your mother died.
Right.
That's must feel horrible. And then to see all of this timeline kind of keep evolving, right? And then the police now saying I'm sure the police and the FBI must have gone to the kids first to tell them we're going to exhume your mom's body.
Right.
Can you imagine hearing that as a kid, to see and then to see the press release that they are being his father and his new wife are being investigated for the attempted murder or murder of their mother. Yeah. That must be horrible.
Yeah.
So they're already feeling like shit, I'm sure, right? But they're a very religious family. So maybe, what I was able to read is that some people are saying that the family is split, that some people are in disbelief, and then you have the kids that are still going to stand next to dad, right? It's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah.
And then to have this week on Tuesday, you see the FBI pull up to your dad's, because they live in the plot of land next to him. Seeing, the FBI go in there, dig, and then to find out that 2 bodies were found there.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about them. I'm like, God, I feel for them. Now, I don't know them as people, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel for them because I'm thinking of myself. How would I feel? I would feel like shit if I heard that my dad was doing all that. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking of them. Like, I was like, it sucks all over. It really does. And I mean, think of just going from a year ago, your mom, or what, not even a year ago, right? Mom died of natural causes and now her body's been exhumed. Our dad married another woman 2 weeks after. Then we find out maybe this was a premeditated marriage.
Right.
And now they're trying to see if they're killed her. And now they found 2 dead bodies in dad's backyard.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's insane. The crazy thing about this is this is where people, and you can look at the other cases that are going on in the U.S. right now, different, whether it's a police brutality or whatever case going on, and people are always complaining or like, it should be murder 1, in the first degree and this, and it's like, what people don't understand is that every state is different how they interpret the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, the reason why it's so airtight, all this evidence and what they found, how they found it, or even hints of what they found, the reason why it's so quiet and we know nothing is because if anything were to get leaked, the lawyers could argue it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when the end of the trial happens, the judge gives specific jury instructions, right? Mm-hmm. And if you've ever been on a jury, you'll know this. They will tell you, this is the definition of the law. And guess what? All that evidence talk about digging up the bodies and burning them and all that, it's not admissible. So even though it's talked about in court, you can't use that to make your judgment. That's how people get off. That's how people get off. That's why it's so important in this case for the evidence to be locked up and sealed and quiet and come out as a huge surprise to absolutely nail these people and say, you did this, you got married, you planned this, you planned the marriage, before the wife died, you went to Hawaii. It's like all these different things that happened. It's so important to have a timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I have a really good timeline.
Yeah, you do.
I guarantee that their timeline is like pretty solid.
You're being subpoenaed. You're going to be in court. You're going to be talking about your timeline.
No, but do you know, I totally agree with you. Like, I think what we know is public is a lot of information. So the shit that they have on them must be a lot.
Yeah, because they don't want to mess around with this case. Because in the end, when the jury comes back and says not guilty, and we're watching this shit on CNN and we're like, what the fuck? And it's like, no, you don't understand. Behind closed doors, the judge told them a few things and probably said, you cannot see this as evidence. This is not admissible. And then what do they have to do? Not guilty, right? That's why it's so important that we don't know any of this. You know what I'm saying? We're all curious Georges over here. We all want to know, right?
Yeah. No, they're gonna get convicted though. I don't doubt that.
They have to, but then
even if they have inadmissible stuff.
But
I'm being hopeful.
I mean, look at what state they're in. I mean, are they as bad as Florida? I mean, is there what's the town like?
Sorry, any Floridians listening. That's Leonie's beliefs, not mine.
That's Mary's beliefs too. She's just being PC. No, I'm kidding. But no, the truth is, like, these cases that come out not guilty, I'm like, what? It's like, you don't know what the instructions are going to be at the end. I think that's why the FBI is like, we're going to just absolutely like bring our A game to this one,
They brought it because they were, once it got to the fact that multiple agencies were in on it,
right?
They saw, I think, what a big deal this was. And to have all of these police departments, from different states and the FBI working together, I think makes it that I would be shocked regardless of, what they can't, I would be shocked if they got off.
Yeah.
There's no way they're getting off.
So I was trying to, I don't know the law, but I'm only guessing here that this became a federal case. I'm guessing for two reasons. One, because of the travel out of state. Is that why? Once they left the state?
I think I think yes, but I think also because there was I think the police department in Idaho asked for them to
Okay.
come in.
I do know that they're experts in digging up, you know, finding, human remains. They're experts in that
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, they were there for that, for the digging up. But then I think too because I think the last sighting of Tyler was at Yosemite National Park, that also, you know, they would have to be the ones investigating
Yes.
any kind of
There you
murder
go.
in that area as
There you
well.
go. That's what makes it federal. It's multiple states. Yeah.
The other thing too is I watch court TV, where it's basically I really like to hear lawyers talk about potential, kind of like what you were saying, potential scenarios, because they know the law.
Right.
What one lawyer brought up was, they went missing in around September. It's already snowing out there. So let's say they did, put the bodies in there. There could be more preserved as far as bone or certain things versus if they were out here in LA for that long,
Right.
where there's the heat out here is dry and humid sometimes. And so they were saying that, they it's still kind of cold out there, it's getting warmer, but the bodies were under snow all this time, if indeed they were there since they went missing. And so she says that might be like gold for the FBI and the
Right.
prosecutors. We don't know any of that, but she brought up that point, and I would have never have thought of that. So maybe they were able, like you said, they didn't say if it was DNA or anything. There may be more information that they got because of the preservation of the ice, with the snow.
Right.
And then they did say that one of the bodies was destroyed in a certain way. So I don't know if when listening, the lawyer said with the neighbors saying they noticed bonfires around this time, did they burn a body? We don't know. So they were just kind of showing like the
Yeah.
scenarios that we don't know yet, and that will probably come to light in the trial.
And you said that one of the bodies, right? So
One of the
why
bodies,
not
but
both
we
of the
don't
bodies?
know. No, so they found both the bodies. Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So both of the bodies. So one of them seemed, worse off than the other. So could it have been Tyler, who's older? She was 17 years old. Maybe put up a fight. I don't know, right? But we don't know any of those details.
Right.
So that's something that we'll probably find out in the trial. And so I'm assuming that in the next few weeks, there will be probably murder charges against both of them.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah. And this is not including the third murder that they're being investigated. That one we don't know anything about yet,
Right.
which is Chad's wife.
Right.
The dead one, not the one that's alive.
Right. One thing I was wondering about also is snow or snow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
now,
know
what is snow versus just snow?
No. Snow or no snow.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
Snow or no snow. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know the terrain of Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing there's wildlife out there.
Yeah.
So if these kids were possibly buried in dirt or ice, I'm really surprised that some kind of wildlife did not dig them up or,
Yeah.
because animals are really good
yeah.
at that stuff,
But also keep in mind that he was a grave digger. Remember?
Yes.
When he was younger. So he might know how deep you have to be.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
And probably also placed in.
I'm going to call the local mortuary and find out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, good luck with that one. And I'm sure you didn't just put I'm sure they were probably put in plastic something,
Yeah. And, I wonder, like I said, the neighbors were saying they had noticed bonfires in the fall. So interesting. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to see how they attack this case. And I based on what I saw on Chad Daybell's lawyer, in the proceedings where they officially charged him, I don't think it's it's not, I don't know. I feel like just his answer based on, my client wasn't running away. He was actually going to the police station.
Right.
And then he said he's not a flight risk because he's here. And then I guess he felt stupid based on what he said. And he's like, well, obviously he's in jail, so that's why he's here.
Yeah.
I was like, oof, you need better defense, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is bad.
I'm surprised that their bail was set at $1 million. Like, that should have been higher because 1 million's not that difficult to get.
But that's what they were saying. So none of the bail bond companies wanted to work with Lori because she's a flight risk. So no one is willing to.
Right.
And they don't think they will work with him either. The only thing I can see happening is that maybe his followers and, people that are still standing by him, they might want to fund it or go fund it. And that might be possible. But I don't think they would take her out. I think they would take him out.
Right.
Now, the other thing is that what the lawyers were talking about on Court TV was, did Lori Vallow turn on him? Was she the one who outed him? And what one of them was saying was that sources were telling her is that he was going, since the day she was taken in, he had gone to visit her every single day. So again, it's a small town, so the jails aren't like out here in LA where you have certain days because there's thousands. They said that he was going every day. So she suspects, she doesn't know. She just speculates that probably their relationship is a lot stronger than we think. So she didn't think that they're going to break, like they would stick together, like they're in it together.
Right.
But we don't know. She could have snitched on him, or maybe they just knew, because it's odd that they knew exactly where to go dig.
In that case, if that's the case, then it's possible that she's been granted some kind of plea deal for lesser charges if she turns evidence against him and provides the location of the bodies and probably further evidence. So it's possible.
We just don't know yet.
We just don't know, but that's just crazy,
Yeah. And the other thing they said is in that show was that, they could have found, hard drive and maybe in email exchanges or phone messages or text messages, because they confiscated all that.
Right.
They could have found information, but I think what they're still hung up on is like someone told them, or they found the golden, thing because they knew exactly where to dig. It's a big plot. And so, yeah, I'm curious to know what happened there. So
me too.
Yeah, so I wanted to do an episode to kind of talk about what has transpired since last episode, which was episode 8. So go back and listen if you want to hear how crazy this whole thing is. Or you can there's a lot of information now that it's making a lot of news coverage. But I think it was Dateline who had done episodes, 2-hour episodes. So you might want to watch those to see where we are now. And I'm sure they're going to do another one. I guarantee it, now that they've arrested him. So I think I will keep an eye on this, and, as it progresses, maybe do a follow-up. And so I did also want to say that, some people had said they were wondering if we would do a follow-up episode on this. So I am like, yay, here we are. And unfortunately, we have lost multiple people, and those 2 children, may they rest in peace. And I hope that these parents, so-called parents, get what they deserve, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to learn a lot about law because I'm very invested in this case.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy one.
Yeah, so.
I'm telling you, they're going to recite your timeline from episode 8 in this court case.
I know. They totally should.
They should.
Just kidding.
Seriously, it's a well thought out timeline. It tells the whole story.
It tells as much as I knew then.
Right.
And then another thing, if you guys listen to that episode, I did, when her brother died, I was almost certain that Lori Vallow had him poisoned. So if you do hear that episode, I do say that. And then in the episode after that had nothing to do with that, I clarified that the coroner said it was a pulmonary embolism. So it's something you don't really survive clinically. So I did apologize for assuming that she poisoned her brother for knowing too much.
Yeah, right.
I was jumping the gun. Like, so anyway, but yeah, so let's see what happens, Leonie.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yes. And so I thank you again for sitting through another episode of me talking with you, because I really enjoy these.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody else does too.
I know, right?
Yeah. So are you willing to do this with me again?
Absolutely. Always my pleasure.
Yay. So thank you everyone for listening. I hope I was able to give some new information, or if you just like to listen, I appreciate it and thank you, because it gives me more motivation to continue. And Leonie, again, thank you as well.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Mary. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, have a good night, morning, evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye. That was episode 12 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.